your thing here, bud. Nobody's any better at this than you are.
That's fine. Take a deep breath.
Give him hell at the end. You like this?
Fight like hell like we do every week. You are the best here. Brett, be affirmative. You told me to get on.
Info. Ready. Ready. Slow. Green, green, green. Lock it down, lock it down.
I'm destroyed, and I just got drove through like 6 times on the 14th. What the f*** is he thinking? That is the stupidest thing I've seen in my career. Literally.
Everything you described is accurate. Haven't even finished the second stage yet. Half the field's wrecked.
Hell yeah.
11 got it. Rowdy there, Matt. Good job, pal. Thanks, man. Good job all day. Great work, my man. Great work.
Keep putting yourself in position. We'll win our share, right? We got one back today, brother. Good job.
10-4. Great job, guys.
And welcome back. Week 5 of the 2021 season. We're off to Pheonix Raceway this weekend. Hope everyone had a proper weekend if you decided to play in Draftkings at Las Vegas. I ended up breaking pretty much about break even for the weekend, which is sometimes a small victory when it comes to Draftkings. But it was kind of fun to watch my, hate to say my favorite driver, because I try not to have favorite drivers when it comes to doing Draftkings and putting these videos together, but ever since Mark Martin retired, my favorite driver has become Kyle Larson, who did get his first win of the year and his first win with his new team at Hendrick. So pretty excited to see my favorite driver win a race. But this weekend we head to Pheonix. It is the first short track race of the season. But the nice thing about Pheonix is it does have progressive banking, and it has lots of room for racing 2, 3, 4, and sometimes even 5 wide. It doesn't typically work very well when you go that wide. But this is also the first track that we will start to see the application of the PJ1 or the sticky stuff that they put on the racing surface, which gives extra traction to the tires and provides extra grip into the outside lanes once the track does warm up and rubber gets applied to it. It's kind of an interesting way they do it to help give extra grooves to the racetrack. But the last 2 races so far that we've had at Homestead and Las Vegas has also given us 3 and 4 and even 5 wide racing at the restarts, and this weekend will be no change, as we will see that again this weekend at Pheonix. Also, on restarts we will see drivers cut what they call into the dog leg of the track, especially when they've got fresh tires. But after the dog leg, it gets real interesting getting into turn 3 when the track goes from, as you'll see in the upcoming video, sometimes 4 and 5 wide down to 2 or maybe 3 lanes. But let's watch some quick highlights from last spring's Pheonix race and see some of these crazy restarts and how tricky it does get into turn 3.
I mean, there's plenty of real estate here, but when you get down in the corner, you see Denny Hamlin in the middle between the two of Brad Kozlowski, and you see Matt DiBenedetto. Now, he's still in the middle, 3 wide, trying to get as good a run off the corner as he can. Gives a little shove to the 22. Now he's 3 wide going into turn 3. Ooh, boy, I don't know if he got loose first or if he made contact with Brad Kozlowski as they entered the corner. That's Corey Lejoy way up high.
Bowman smoking from contact, and there it is.
You see John Hunter Nemechek got into the 21 at Benedetto, then the 47 of Stenhouse gets in the side of John Hunter Nemechek. It was just a mess. I don't think there's any chance of this coming out any different. You see damage to the 88.
Watch the 2. Here Brad goes scooting right through.
A little bit of damage to the right side.
Green-white checker, here we go. Logano, the control car, and he's out first by a car length. Harvick getting a little push from Kyle Busch.
Saw Logano checked up really early, gave the outside to the 4. Kevin Harvick coming and Larson to the inside.
But it's Logano who's first out of turn 2.
I almost thought Logano checked up too early that time going into turn 1.
Harvick looks to the bottom. Logano up high. White flag. Next flag ends the race.
Hey, we've already seen Kevin Harvick not afraid to put the bumper to somebody to move him. Will he do that if he gets to the 22 of Logano? Oh, he's trying.
He was within a foot there between corners 1 and 2.
One last chance at it as he dives into turn 3. I think he's a little too far back.
Joey got a great launch off turn 2. He's got Harvick by 2 car lengths, and he's looking at the finish line. Second win of the season for Joey Logano.
All right, and that was last spring's race at Pheonix International Raceway, where Joey Logano ended up getting the victory. And we'll kind of look at the optimal lineups to that race and the fall race at the tail end of this video. As we kind of spoke when we talked about Homestead 2 weeks ago, Homestead was the championship weekend track for many years, and Homestead ended up losing that to Pheonix this past year. So the fall race here was championship weekend, and as we discussed before, that adds a little bit different element to how the racers race and how they race around those championship 4 drivers. A lot of times teams will use it as kind of a practice session or a testing session, and they'll try to stay out of the way of the championship 4 drivers, and that's why we see typically the championship drivers finish 1, 2, 3, 4 in certain orders. So we don't take a whole lot of credit into what happened in the fall race for the championship. So there'll be a lot more weight put on to prior races at Pheonix, including the race we just kind of took a glance at. But it's a fun track to watch as a fan. It's also a really fun track to drive on iRacing. But let's get down to business and the real reason you came to watch the video, and let's get to the driver breakdown. The Instacart 500 here at Pheonix International Speedway. As you can see, it is a short track. It does have a different layout than most tracks. The type of track is a low bank short track. The length is just a little over a mile, 11-degree bankings in turn 1 and 2, and 9-degree banking in 3 and 4. The race length here is 312 laps. Total Dominator points is 218.4. So once again, this will be a track that we will need to have at least 2 Dominators and possibly even a third. In the other 3 spots, we're going to be looking, 3 or 4 spots, we're going to be looking for guys that will make up place differential or PD upside, as we will talk about as we go through. But 78 points for laps led and fast laps of 140.4. All right, our driver by driver breakdown, and the top end is Kevin Harvick, priced at $11,900. Kevin is one of the older drivers in the field. He has 36 total starts here at Pheonix, and he has been called Mr. Pheonix for a long time because he has a great history here at Pheonix. He is starting 18th, so this will be a driver that will probably have a lot of potential great upside on place differential. He has not started this season off great. That's why he does have a ranking of 6 going into this race. In the last 5 races, he has 0 wins, 3 top 5s, a 54.8 Draftkings average, and a 5.6 average finish. Not too shabby other than the no wins. Out of those 36 races, though, he does have 9 wins, 18 top 5s, and he finished 7th in the fall race. Next in line, Chase Elliott, 11,500. He does have 10 starts here, and is 5th in the power rankings. He does have one win, which was that fall championship race where he won the championship. With that win, gave him that one top 5, a 39.8 DraftKings average, a 16.8 average finish, and 3 top 5s out of his 10 starts. Joey Logano, the spring race winner here, has a power ranking of 3. He has 24 other starts, priced at $11,100. He will be starting 9th on Sunday. And in the last 5, he has 2 top 5s, a 12.0 average finish, and a 50.3 DraftKings average. He finished 3rd here in the fall in the championship race. He does have 2 total wins out of his 24 and 6 top 5s. Next in line, Kyle Busch, 10,800. He has started here 31 total times in his career. His power ranking this weekend will be a 7. He does have 2 wins here in the last 5 starts, 4 top 5s out of those 5, a 78.4 DraftKings average, a 3.6 average finish. He will be somebody that we will really need to kind of watch as things progress throughout this race. The reason why he does have a 7th on his power ranking is mostly because the way he has started this year and his last 2 races here last year. His team performs much better, and Kyle performs much better when they have practice, and because we have not had practice for over a year now since COVID had started, Kyle has kind of struggled with getting the setups and communicating the setups to his crew chief and to his crew. But out of his 31 total starts here, he has 3 wins and 12 top 5s. Next in line, Brad Kozlowski, 10,400. He will be starting from the pole. Though qualifying here, he got that pole position because of where he sits in owner points, driver owner points, and finishing positions in the last few races. He has 23 total starts here, no wins, 7 top 5s out of those 23. In the last 5 races, though, he has 2 top 5s, a 53.2 DraftKings average, and an 8.8 average finish. And our next grouping is Martin Truex Jr. at 10,000. He has 30 total starts here, no wins, 4 top 5s. He'll be starting 5th this weekend with a power ranking of 4. He has a 37.1 DraftKings average, a 12.8 average finish. Denny Hamlin, 9,900, 31 total starts here, 2 total wins, 14 top 5s. In the last 5 races, he does have 1 win, 3 top 5s, a 53.3 DraftKings average, and an 8.6 average finish. He is coming in at a power ranking of number 1. So he will be somebody that we will take a decent amount of ownership in this weekend. Kyle Larson, our winner last weekend, 9,600, 13 total starts here. He did not race in the fall race last year because he was still under suspension. He has a power ranking of 8, and he will be starting 2nd. Due to his win last weekend, he got to move up a little bit. He has 5 top 5s here in his 13 starts. He has a 49.8 DraftKings average in the last 5 races and a 4.3 average finish. Ryan Blaney, next in line, 9,300, starting 8th, has started here total of 10 times and has 2 top 5s, power ranking of 10th, 24.4 DraftKings average, and an average finish of 16.6. Will be Eric Amarillo at 9,000. He is our driver that we'll be looking at maybe for some potential PD upside because he's starting 32nd. 15 total starts here and a power ranking of 13 this weekend. He does have 2 top 5s out of his 15, and those did happen in the last 5 races. He has a 38.2 DraftKings average and a 10.2 average finish. Next in line, Alex Bowman, 8,800, 11 total starts here, starting 21st this weekend, a power ranking of 25th. In the last 5 starts here, he has 0 wins, 0 top 5s, a 3.7 DraftKings average, a 23.6 average finish, and finished here 16th in the fall race. Probably somebody, as you can see, with his 25th power ranking, somebody I will probably not have a whole lot of exposure to, but Hendrick Motorsports in general has been performing well so far, so good this sort of. Somebody I won't be having a whole lot of exposure to this weekend, but since he does race in the Hendrick camp, and who Hendrick has had a really good start to this year with 2 winners, that may be somebody I'll have a little bit of exposure to, so it's tough to say. We'll see. Next in line, Matty D. Next in line, Matt DiBenedetto, or Matty D, 8,500. Starting 20th, has 12 total starts here, a power ranking of 12th, has 1 top 10, a 35.2 DraftKings average, and a 10.5 average finish, and finished 8th here in the fall for his only top 10 finish. Next in line, William Byron, under the Hendrick Motorsports camp, and 1 win at Homestead. Has 6 total starts here and will be starting 10th this weekend, power ranking of 11th. He does have 3 top 10s, a 34.0 DraftKings average, and a 13-point average finish. Next in line, Christopher Bell, 8,100, 2 total starts here, but has 5 total starts in Xfinity, and Xfinity does have a one win and 3 top 5s, but in the other 2 races in the Cup car, he's got a 19.3 DraftKings average, no top 10s, and a 20.5 average finish, coming in at a power ranking of 21st. Tyler Reddick, next in line, 7,900, also only has 2 starts here, has 5 Xfinity starts, no wins, and only 2 top 5s. He will be starting 23rd this weekend, and he coming in at a power ranking of 15th, 24.0 DraftKings average, and a 26th place average finish out of his 2 finishes and 2 starts here at Pheonix. Getting down into the $7,000 range, Kurt Busch at 7,700 has 36 total starts here, starting 12th and a power ranking of 9th in the last 5 races. He has 2 top 10s, a 34.4 DraftKings average, 13.6 average finish, and out of all of his 36 starts, he does have a win here and 7 top 5s. Next in line, Chase Briscoe, rookie, 7,500, does not have any starts here in the Cup car, but does have 4 Xfinity starts, and he does have 4 top 10s out of those 4 starts, and a 43.9 DraftKings average in Xfinity, and a 7.3 average finish. I'm ranking him at a 29th. I'm not sure how well he's going to end up performing here. He could surprise me. I'm just not willing to put a whole lot of stock into him quite yet. Still shaking the rust off to see if I like him or not. Next in line, Austin Dillon at 7,400 has 14 total starts here. It has a power ranking of 16th this weekend with a starting position of 13th. He does have 1 top 10 in the past 5, 2 total top 10s out of his 14 starts. He has a 21.9 DraftKings average and a 21.4 average finish. Bubba Wallace, driving the Mickey D's McDonald's car for 2311 Racing, has raced 6 times here in the Cup car, has 1 top 10, an 18.2 DraftKings average, a 31.8 average finish, and a 23rd power ranking. Last fall, he finished 15th here. Eric Jones at $7,000 has 9 total starts here. Will be starting 14th this weekend with a power ranking of 17th. He does have one top 10 in his last 5 starts, a 12.9 Draftkings average, and a 20.6 average finish. Out of his 9 starts, though, he does have 4 top 10s. Getting down to our lower priced drivers, and this is where we can find some value. Ross Chastain will not be one of them at $6,900. He has 5 total starts here and no top 10s, 22.1 Draftkings average, and a 25.5 average finish, and starting 22nd. That doesn't bode too well for him, so he has a 34th power ranking. In Xfinity, still not much better. 11 total starts, no wins, 2 top 10s. Won't be having much of Mr. Chastain this weekend. Sorry about it. No watermelons allowed in Pheonix. All right, Cole Custer, 6,700, has 2 total Cup starts here, 6 total Xfinity starts here, and only 2 top 5s out of those 6. Out of the last 2 starts here, he does have a 25.6 Draftkings average and an 18.5 average finish. Finished 28th here in the fall, and he's got a 22nd power ranking. Ryan Newman, 6,600. He has 36 total starts here, 2 wins, 10 top 5s out of those 36 starts. This weekend he'll be starting 19th with an 18th power ranking, 31.7 Draftkings average, and a 16.3 average finish. Chase Briscoe, another driver out of the Roush camp and Ryan Newman's teammate, 6,400, 10 total starts here, no top 10s, no wins, 31.9 Draftkings average, a 17.4 average finish, but he has started this year off extremely well, and he'll be starting 17th this weekend with a power ranking of 13th. Michael Mcdowell, our Daytona 500 winner, coming in at 6,200, has 20 total starts here, and will be starting 16th this weekend. No top 10s, an 18.4 Draftkings average, a 24.2 average finish, 23rd here, and finished 23rd here in the fall, and a 19 on the power ranking. Now we're getting down to the nitty gritty and really low priced drivers. Corey Lejoy at 6,000 will be starting 33rd. There will be a little bit of PD upside here with Corey. He does not typically perform very well at this track with a 31.5 average finish and starting 33rd. That doesn't give a whole lot of room for upward movement, and finished 38th here in the fall race. So maybe a little bit of salary relief there, but I don't know how well he's going to do. Daniel Suarez at 5,900, I like a little bit more. He has 8 total starts here, 3 top 10s out of those 8. Will be starting 27th, 19.2 Draftkings average, and a 25.2 average finish, and a 24th on the power ranking. Salary relief and some PD upside with Mr. Suarez. Anthony Alfredo, Fast Pasta at 5,800. No starts here ever, other than in iRacing. It's the only starts he has here. He's never seen the track, never been to Pheonix before. No way to judge him. I'm putting him just outside the top 25 with the 26th power ranking. For some salary relief, he's going to be somebody that I will use, but I don't know how well he's going to end up doing. Ryan Preece at 5,600. Issue here is he is starting 15th, an average finish of 28th. Don't see a whole lot of upward mobility here. Probably not going to score us a whole lot of points. Even in Xfinity, he only has 1 top 15, so he has a power ranking of 28th. He is in decent equipment and could potentially, he started the year off really well this year. Maybe somebody I have slight interest in, but not very much. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. at 5,500. Why this guy is priced that low, other than his average finish is 22.8, and he is starting fairly far up in the field at 11th, so we have a potential of PD downside, which is not good. I do give him a power ranking of 20th because he does have 16 total starts here at this track and 2 top 10s. He did finish 27th here in the fall. Getting down in this range, it's really tough to kind of figure, but you got to start some of these guys at the lower rankings to the guys at their upper end. So I will have some Ricky Stenhouse Jr., just not a whole lot. Now we're getting into the guys that have not made the optimal lineup and won't make the optimal lineup unless just a meteor hits the track and takes out the top half of the field, which isn't going to happen. So I won't be having exposure to these guys, but just we'll cover them real quick. We've got James Davidson at 5,400. Has only one start here. He's starting 38th, and he finished 33rd here in the fall. Garrett Smithley, if you're looking down at the bottom of the end of this barrel of DraftKings, you'll notice JJ Yaley is on there. It is actually Garrett Smithley that will be running that car and not JJ Yaley. Once again, I will not be having any exposure to any of these guys, but just be aware, definitely do not take JJ Yaley because he is not starting this race, and Garrett Smithley is not listed on DraftKings as an option. Justin Haley at 5,000. Has 4 Xfinity starts here, and his best finish is 5th, with an average finish of 8th. He just is not in great equipment. There's a chance of a little bit of PD upside, but not enough for me to take any money in him. Quinn Hoff at 4,900, starting 35th, an average finish of 34.3. Once again, no reason to take him. There's no upside here. Timmy Hill, 4,800, starting 37th. His average finish is 37.7. Don't see any reason to take him either. Josh Bilicki, 4,700, starting 36th. His average finish is 35th. His best finish, even in Xfinity, is 23rd. Cody Ware at 4,600, starting 31st, average finish of 30th. Nope, not taking him either. BJ Mcleod at 4,500, has no Cup starts here, 9 Xfinity starts here with a best finish of 14th, starting 30th. Just not good equipment. Isn't going to be able to run up front. He's probably going to end up going a lap down, so no exposure there either. So let's take a look at our rundown again of our top 15 drivers. This is our total breakdown of all the drivers. Denny Hamlin at 1st, Brad Kozlowski 2nd, Joey Logano in 3rd, Martin Truex 4, Chase Elliott 5th, Kevin Harvick 6th, Kyle Busch 7, Kyle Larson 8th, 9th Kurt Busch, 10th Ryan Blaney, William Byron 11, Matt DiBenedetto, Matty D in 12th, Christopher Buescher, our first real price reduction here at 6,400 in the 13th spot. I guess you could see some salary relief with Kurt Busch above him and William Byron at 8,300. Eric Amarillo, probably our best PD upside this weekend in power ranking 14th, and Tyler Reddick 7,900 in the 15th spot. So what I've done is I've kind of examined what's been happening this year and looking on how I construct and how we build lineups for DraftKings, and kind of a breakdown of what I like to see is who are my top 9 drivers that I'm going to look at for potentially being drivers that can lead laps, have fast laps, and finish up front. And that would be our top 3rd picks above, and these drivers would be in the $9,000 or better price. And of course, as we just saw in our breakdown a second ago, this is our grouping. Then what I do is I will pick 2 drivers out of here that I like the best, and then I take the bottom of the barrel, who are my price savings, who's going to give me great potential PD upside for the least amount of dollars, because more likely these guys aren't going to win. They're not going to lead laps. They may have a 1 or 2 fast laps, but they give me PD upside and salary relief. So Chris Buescher, Eric Jones, Ryan Newman, Michael McDowell, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Cole Custer, Daniel Suarez, Anthony Alfredo, and Corey LaJoy. So then after I pick potentially 2 of those drivers that I like best, so now I have 4 drivers, I now look at my middle tier guys, and this is kind of where I fill in the blanks. You have $50,000 total dollars to spend, and let's kind of do a quick breakdown of 2 different lineups. These are not exactly what I will run, or I may not run. I haven't put any lineups together yet, but this is something that I will probably end up landing on at some point. I don't know if it'll be my favorite, but this is an example of a roster build. So I'm going to take Denny Hamlin because he was in my top spot, and Brad Kozlowski was in the second spot. Next, I'm going to look at my 2 cheapest drivers that I have that are ranked highest out of the drivers pool that I have. Then I'm going to look at my next 2 top drivers at Kurt Busch and William Byron, and lo and behold, I have a total salary of $49,700 and $300 left over. It's fine to have money left over. In fact, a lot of times having money left over is typically how you want to build your lineups. So let's take a look at a second build here. Oops, it still says build 1, but I didn't mean to do that. It says build 2. Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch. So we've got 2 very, very high priced drivers. So I'm going to need to find some salary relief at the very bottom. So I'm going to take Daniel Suarez and Ricky Stenhouse. Now I'm going to fill in the blanks of Eric Amarillo and Cole Custer. And my salary is now at $49,800 with a salary relief left over of $200. So these are 2 different lineups to build. Like I said, I start with my top 2 who are probably going to get the most points, lead the most laps, have the most fast laps, have the best finishing positions, and not screw up during the race. And then I'm going to look at guys that are going to start in the back and typically run clean races, work their way to the front, have a little bit of luck, and finish pretty well and give me some PD upside. Then I look at kind of the middle, and once again, that's kind of looking for some PD upside and maybe even potentially somebody who can run up front. I mean, Eric Amarillo, he's not great at short track. He's not bad, but he's starting 32nd, so he gives me a lot of place differential upside. So let's look at our optimal lineups from so far this year. And as we can kind of see working into this, it was all about PD upside at Daytona and at the road course at Daytona, 37th to 14th, 35th to 16th, 39th to 15th. As you can see, that's kind of where we're looking at these tracks that don't have any Dominator points really to speak of. Once we got to Homestead, we started to see fast laps and laps led really kind of come into play. And then here again at Las Vegas last weekend, 2 drivers vied for the Dominator points, and 4 drivers, really 3 drivers had PD upside, and Denny Hamlin just had a good finish with a little bit of laps led. So that's kind of our lineup so far for the year and kind of how things are tracking. And as you can see, we had $500 left over from the optimal lineup last weekend, $200, $200, and $2,400 at Daytona, and that Daytona number is typically where you kind of want to be. Super speedways typically will do that, and we'll talk more about that when we get to Talladega here in a couple of months. Optimal lineups last year for Pheonix, the fall race. As you can see, we had 2 Dominators at top and 3 place differential and 1 that kind of was in the middle with Bubba Wallace. The reason being was because there were so many guys that finished so high with points that this just ended up how the optimal lineup worked out. So that's why we're seeing fairly low points with the other guys, but because once again we're just looking at the fast laps here and laps led, you can kind of see the same thing for the spring race down here. We ended up having 3 Dominator drivers, with Kevin Harvick having the most points at 84 and Chase Elliott the 3rd most points at 81. And then we had some salary relief down here with place differential upsides. So this kind of shows us a breakdown of our place differentials, starting we can take Eric Amarillo, who's starting 32nd. If he were to happen to win this race without even leading a lap or having a fast lap, he's going to end up with 76 points. And if we're looking optimal lineups, I mean, 76 points puts you in definitely the optimal lineup. So I'm not saying that Eric Amarillo is going to go out and win this race, but he's not going to lose us any points unless he finishes 38th, and there's only 38 cars in this race. So Eric Amarillo is a safe bet to not lose any points at all. If you happen to be betting or putting a DraftKings lineup together for Xfinity, here's my rankings for drivers. When I put this together, I did not have pricing. I do know that Ty Gibbs just finished up racing at Pheonix in the ARCA series and won that pretty much hands down. They don't do a DraftKings for that, but Ty Gibbs will probably end up being somebody that I will have more than a power ranking of 4. He probably will end up being closer to winning the race or having a lot of PD upside. So if you're doing DraftKings for Xfinity, I would definitely have a little bit of Ty Gibbs and Austin Cindric. I think they're going to battle it out pretty well. But there's kind of my breakdown for those guys. And I don't know if JJ Yeley's going to end up running that because I don't know what's going on with them. I haven't gotten any information on that. But either way, that is the lineup for this week. And hopefully you enjoyed the information. If you have any questions, make sure you either can shoot me a message on here, on Facebook, Twitter, and of course you can always email me, mark@racinginthedraft.com. I appreciate you taking the time. If you made it all the way through the end of the video, make sure you hit the like and leave me a comment saying you made it. If you have anybody else who might be interested in this content, make sure you share this information with them, and good luck this weekend. We will talk to you soon. Thanks.
Get a good deep breath. Get ready to roll here. Only about one thing tonight, getting the W, so got to be around at the end to do that. Get ready to roll tonight, boys. Let's go have some fun.
Don't get me any more fired up than I already am.
All the way to the checkered. You're fine. Nobody's got to run. Checker time, baby!
Hell yeah!
Proud of you there, Matt. Good job, pal. Thanks, man. Good job all day. Great work, my man. Great work.
Keep putting yourself in position, we'll win our share, right? We got one back today, brother. Good job.
Great job, guys. Excellent work, my man. Excellent work. Thank you.
Man, that's awesome. Set out with a goal, we got it here, bud. Thank you very much.
Really proud of you, man. You drove your butt off tonight. We had the fastest car here, bud.
Probably killed our deal there. Just feel like I gave one away.
Yeah, boys. Way to rebound. Great job.
Great job, bud. Really good job. Appreciate you hanging in there with us all weekend.
What a weekend. Good job. Thank you.